Life isn't perfect, and neither are we.
Nope. But we know how to face our fears
And have some fun.
and talk about all the messiest things of life.
Like the messiest things.
Get connected to yourself, get connected to others, and get connected to the life right in front of you.
This is The Connected Life with Justin and Abi.
That's me.
That's you.
And you.
I've recently been lying to my body. Why?
Yeah, I was waiting
What does
for
that
where
mean?
where are you going with this, bud?
Please share. Do tell.
Buddy,
Do tell.
tell me about it.
Buddy. Well, I drink LaCroix.
LaCroix.
LaCroix. I don't even know how you pronounce it.
That's not how you say it. I just like to say it as a funny. I like to make it like a crazy thing.
So I, for like, I don't know, 6 months now, I've like killed most all sugary things.
Which is amazing.
Yeah. I am not comfort eating. My soul got healed from the little fat kid who was always like, I need food. I'm in pain.
Comfort. It's actually a pretty remarkable thing that your soul got healed enough to not need to comfort eat
At all.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't do that. But I've told my body, like when it does have any like limited desire of something different than water, I'm like, it's time for a LaCroix. A refreshing beverage that's filled with fizz, and I think it tastes different than normal water.
Right? It does. It makes you feel like you're drinking something special.
It makes me feel like I'm cheating or something.
You're like, I'm having a soda, but it's not.
But it's not a soda. But my brain thinks so. I got you, brain.
I got you, brain. You still
you.
get a treat, but it's not a treat.
It's like when people try and trick themselves out of smoking and by chewing the nicotine gum. And then like a couple days into it, they've got a big wad of nicotine gum in their mouth. And they're like, forget it. It doesn't matter. Give me that cigarette again. That's
funny.
real.
That's so funny.
What are we doing today, friend?
You know what? We're going to tell some stories.
All right. Stories. I like stories.
It's actually a subject that I love, but I feel a lot of excitement about it because it's really hopeful and fun. And it's for the holiday season.
Yeah, because we just finished Thanksgiving. We're coming up here on Christmas.
Yeah.
Some large man dressed in red is going to ask you to sit on his lap.
We need to remind you that the holidays are about the holidays, not just all the shopping you just accomplished for Thanksgiving.
It's true, but it's become that. I know that a lot of people are at a point where they are mutinying.
Yeah.
Mutinying.
They're
leading mutinies, and they're like, I'm done with buying any gifts for Christmas because that's ridiculous.
It's just so hard. Oh, after Thanksgiving?
Well, no, in general, people are getting to the point where they're just like, I can't take it. Like Christmas is about buying a bunch.
Who are these people that you're talking about?
Just for the sake of getting and receiving.
I just have never, I don't know any of my friends.
I literally read an entire article on the internet. On the old internet recently. People were exhausted
so
because it wasn't like Christmas stopped being about generosity, connection.
It just became like a monster.
And celebrating what it was about. I mean, it was about Jesus's birth and everything. So,
and there's mobs of people out there mutinying.
That's what they say. Like, I don't know it's a large percentage of people are like, I want to get rid of like buying gifts altogether.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
But that's because it took a weird turn and it went out of like the part of it. It wasn't just about generosity. It became about entitlement and expectations.
Right.
But we want to talk today about the heart of generosity because it's a season of generosity, and generosity comes in a million forms. It doesn't just come in, these gifts that are sitting under a Christmas tree.
Absolutely.
And a lifestyle of generosity is really impactful.
Yeah, it's beautiful and it's fulfilling. If you want to live a life where you feel full all the time, generosity is one of the things to do to step into that.
Absolutely.
So should we start by talking about
how generous we are?
That is such a horrible lead-in.
You don't know how awesome we are? Here it comes.
Oh my gosh.
Tell them the story.
It's so bad.
We're going to talk about a few different ways that people have been generous in different examples. One of them is going to be us.
Yeah, but a lot of them are not us because we're not trying to toot our own horn, but we are trying to talk from toot. But we are trying to talk from experience. And last year we had a pretty magical Christmas.
Yeah, we really did.
I mean, it's the best Christmas of my life, probably.
I would say so too.
Yeah.
And it all came out of generosity.
It was the best Christmas of our lives, not because of what we got, not because everything was perfect, but because of what we got to give.
Yeah, and what we got to partner with and do.
And I have found that oftentimes, like for me, I have to find something. When I grew up with Christmases, there was, there's some pain around Christmas for me growing up.
Yeah, you were robbed. That's all I'll say.
Well,
that's me being extremely kind.
There's a lot of family things around Christmas. And so for me, I kind of learned at a young age, I have to find something that I am in control of that I can look forward to about Christmas so that I don't hate my life.
Yeah.
And so it became like either what I'm going to give or an experience I want to do.
You gave a microwave to your parents once, didn't you? Was that Christmas?
I did. I did. I forgot about that.
No, it was precious.
That's cute. I
saved up all your money and bought them a new microwave.
Yeah, when I was in like 7th grade or something.
No.
And that microwave lasted for 20 years.
I know.
Yeah. Anyway, so I focused on what is it that I have the power to do for a holiday to make it great. And I do want to say we're going to go through so many different ways of generosity, because if you don't have money, there's so many ways to live generously.
And people feel really debilitated. And oftentimes there's a lot of shame around the holidays or around generous moments like birthdays or whatever, because they think it has to come in the form of something that you paid a price for.
Yep.
And they just don't have it. And you shouldn't have to be limited when it comes to generosity to finances.
Absolutely. So I would say this story starts a couple years ago, and we decided, we were saving for a house and we started looking for a house, and we found there was like so many roadblocks to us being able to buy a house.
I was so sure we were going to have one, and I told somebody that we're getting this house. I know it's it. And no, it wasn't. Nope.
And it was like every door slammed closed in every way for years. Well, I mean, because we've been looking for years and we still don't have a house. So this story doesn't end with a happy ending. But did you do phrasing in your head?
No.
Oh.
But now I am. Go, continue.
What were you laughing at?
Oh, that it was just such a Debbie Downer. This doesn't go well.
We still don't have a house. But okay, so what happened is at some point in the house search, I just kind of got fed up. And I was like, this is so dumb. And I was like, if we can't buy a house, we should give away a chunk of our down payment.
Yeah.
Because I believe that generosity always opens doors. And it wasn't like, let's give away a chunk so that we can get a house. It was just like, I feel stuck. We can't.
Right.
We've saved this money. We can't actually, we're not, like, part of me wanted to go like spend it on something cool, let's go buy a car or something.
But we like, to me, it's about getting in the flow of abundance.
Yes.
And just an agreement, a heart level agreement with abundance. There's more than enough.
Yes. And that's what I think we found generosity in our life is breaking fear.
Yeah.
It helps us get out of the mindset of, I'm never going to have enough. Like, if I give this away, I won't make more. Our beliefs about money dictate so much of our life that we want to be having beliefs where our hands are open, not fisted up.
Yeah, totally.
So we decide we're going to give a chunk of our down payment away.
Yeah. So we were trying left and right to give this down payment away, but our soul, each of us would hit this blockade. I'm like, I really want to give this to this person, but I can't. I don't feel the freedom. It's not the right time to do it.
Yes.
And that's a big part of stuff is like following our gut instinct when it comes to generosity.
Divine intuition, that thing that is connected to something beyond you.
And that's how I function with a lot of the ways, especially when it comes to finances. I have a heart that everything's available to be used.
Yes.
In the sense of in a generous way where I'm like, whatever. If there's a yes to give away everything in my bank account, I'll do it. Yeah. It might be a little bit scary, but I'll do it.
Yeah. And you have. I mean, one time you felt like you're supposed to give away everything you made for 3 months and you did. So you fought, like, we are big proponents of following the divine spark. Yeah. That intuition that leads you. Now, I will say, and I like that we're talking about this, that I grew up in a home, my mom was so generous that there was no boundaries around generosity. Right. And so
I've had friends like that.
Yeah, we're in debt, but she's like paying for multiple missionaries to live. And I like that her heart was to want to help people, but I was like, also we're drowning.
Right. There was no wisdom in relationship to her generosity.
Yes. And so I remember being like, this feels crazy. So I listen as much to my no as I do my yes about finances.
Yep. And I think that that's a really big key and we're talking right now about finances, but about any part of our life, like being able to hear a no and hear a yes and follow both of those.
Yeah. Cause there's sometimes when I feel like, let's talk about generosity of time. I feel like I'm supposed to give my time to this person. Then there's other times I want to give my time to somebody who has need, but I actually feel a no on it. And so I want to not be codependent with people and shortcut their process.
Right. We had one friend that had given, basically purchased a house for someone and was the bank for them. And the person, it was a bad decision.
Yeah.
And that person transitioned from where they were living to another place. And now this home,
everybody lost money.
Yep. This home that he should have never purchased for this other person was now a weight around this other person's neck.
Yes.
Because they were trying to pay on the house as well as go make his transition. And so in the process, our friend said, yep, I realized that I did it not out of the yes, but out of like, oh, I should do that, or a guilty thing or something like that. And so they ate a very large chunk of money and said, I'm writing it off for you and I'm going to eat this large chunk of money and you're not going to have to pay me back on any of it. I should have never given you a loan in the first place. That was my bad. And it's because he wasn't connected to his no to hear it. And it actually was hindering someone else and hindered himself in the end. Yeah. So yeses and no's.
Very important.
It's not high stakes. I'm not trying to say that is an example of high stakes. Everything worked out fine when it was all said and done. Yeah. But actually connecting to ourselves has value to it.
Yeah, that's why we're doing this podcast, The Connected Life.
So let's talk about furthering this Christmas story.
Okay, so what ends up happening is we both feel a no for like 2 years straight. So we have this money that we want to give away, and every time we come up with an idea, one of us feels like just like a gut check. Like, no, that's just not right. Your turn.
All of a sudden we were spending some time with some people, some friends of ours. Yep. And
last Thanksgiving.
And I had this thing inside of me go, oh, we're supposed to buy them a car. Yeah. And so we're getting on a plane, flying away from where we were at. And I said, hey, it's going to sound crazy, but I feel like we're supposed to come back here for Christmas and we're supposed to give them a car.
Yeah. And for the first time, because every time we've had an idea, I've wanted to say yes. Right. For the first time, I was like, yes, that's right. We're supposed to do that. Now, one of the things that I am a firm believer in is that generosity is contagious. And I've seen in my life over and over and over again how if you invite people into a moment of generosity, it just increases so much. Yep. So I actually I went and I wrote out a letter to a bunch of people that know that person. Yep. And was like, hey, we want to buy them a car, but not we can't afford like a brand
Escalade.
New fancy car.
What we could do is we said, hey, the more that you give, the better the car that we get. Here's our budget for it if you want to add to it. And a collective group of people all pitched in.
Yeah. Which was magical because now you feel bonded with all of these people. Like everyone who pitched in had the same level of excitement and the same level of buy-in.
Expectancy of like, oh my gosh, I have this expectancy of what how this person's going to respond.
Yeah. So it was so fun because it was actually... So this family, we went to have Christmas with this family, and there are 6 kids that they have, and then they have their spouses and stuff. And so the whole process, everybody is like level 10 excited.
Oh, totally.
Everybody is like, we found a car and we found it. And I think we should tell the story because I think it's valuable to talk about the process of trusting.
Yeah. I'm respecting the journey, however you wanted to share it.
Okay. So we end up, we're looking for cars, and every time I find a car and have a friend who's going to go look at it in that state, it gets sold that morning.
Right. And so, we're on the way there. Abby is having a friggin' meltdown. It's not working out, and it's not going to come through. Are you kidding me? We're
finally have the money to give, and we can't find a car because I'm like, I want to be able to give a car, not money. And I knew these people. I'm like, if we give them money, they'll probably like only use part of it for a car, and then
give it away to people.
Yes, they love. Totally. So I was like, are you freaking kidding me? We can't find one. This is my one chance to give a car away. It's been a dream of my heart for years to do that. And so, but literally at the airport, after I have that breakdown driving to the airport.
We're on the airport after we've landed, And
no, at the airport getting ready to take off.
It was getting ready to take off.
They post a new car that is exactly what we're looking for.
Exactly in the price range we want.
Just gotten posted. Yeah. And they said they'd stay open late for us to go look at it that day when we flew in.
Yep. We got in there. We're having like an office party. Guy keeps it open.
Yep.
Goes and takes it for a test drive.
Because they love it. Listen, every person we told this story to was like, you're giving a car away for Christmas? This is amazing. We want in on this. They gave us a deal on it. And they because of the story,
they're like, here's an extra deal.
Yeah.
And I know how car salesmen can be at times, and they weren't faking it. They're like, no, we really want to give you a good deal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I remember like the family coming with us to pick up the car, and we're all crying. Like everybody's crying, and it's feeling like Oprah, and you're feeling so excited.
The people there are getting emotional at the dealership.
Yeah.
About the whole thing. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It was a really cool thing. And everywhere we went, like we went to go get like a backup camera for it at a store, and everybody there like loved it, and they were bending back. Like everybody wants to be a part of generosity, to be a part of something bigger than them.
Yep, totally.
So it ends up being Christmas morning.
Yeah.
And I am about to have an anxiety attack because I am so excited. I literally avoided these people the whole trip. I'm like, I couldn't talk to them because I was like, I have the secret. I just want to give it to you. I want to give it to you. I want to give it to you. And so I have to sit through the entire Christmas morning. Now, here's what we didn't know. The mom, the people we were giving the car to, she had prayed. She was like, I really want to be able to have an extravagant Christmas for everybody who's coming. I want to be able to give away all of my favorite things. So she prayed for an amount of money so that she could give away gifts to everyone. And the next week she got a check for that exact amount of money.
Yep.
So she got 9 gifts for everybody there.
Yeah.
I thought I was going to die.
All these
9 gifts. And we had to open them individually. So that's 9 times like 9. There was at least 9 people there.
Babe, there was way more than 9 people there.
I don't know how many. But so I'm literally like, and she's having so much fun. She's like
14 of us going through packages one after another. We have to sit through it.
She's like, it's like Oprah.
At one point.
All my favorites list.
And at one point her husband goes, and you get a car, and you get a car, and you get a car. And everyone's, you can see that everyone's trying not to have a total explosion of laughter and be like, don't break face because of what's about to happen.
Yes. And it's like the secrecy of the moment. And anyway, so I am about to die. I feel like I'm about to die on the inside. But we have this plan. We wait till all of the gifts are opened up. And then I pull out one and I'm like, oh, we forgot one. And it's a card with a scavenger hunt on it. So as soon as we pull that out, the mom like instantly just starts weeping uncontrollably because she loves scavenger hunts.
If it was just a scavenger hunt, that was okay.
That would have made her Christmas because that's what she used to do for her kids all the time. And she didn't have time to do it because she was trying to wrap all these 1,000,000 presents. And so we put her on the scavenger hunt.
Yeah. And to fast forward, to the end of the scavenger hunt, they believed like, oh, it's probably going to be a picture of like the whole family got together and had a nice family photo.
That was what his idea was. Her idea was maybe we cleaned the house.
Right.
Like that was her dream. Like maybe the scavenger hunt leads and we come back to the house and it's clean.
Right. And so a garage door opens at a house that they lead to. And here's all of us screaming surprise. And
they see a car with a huge bow, but they can't figure out what it means.
Yeah. Like, what is this? What is happening?
Yes.
And then tears are falling down their face.
And then they're like, this car's for you.
We're having to really like go above and beyond to explain the situation.
Yeah, they can't fathom it. It's too much to take.
Yeah, it's real.
And so then they just like melt down and sob, and it is beautiful.
So we're all part of that magical moment, but then that actually spurs on giving.
So when we're there, then my best friend, she decides, you know what? I think we're supposed to give one of our cars to my brother. So then she gives one of her cars to her brother, which is awesome. They used it and then it broke, and then it was only helpful for a few months, but for those few months, it was perfect. It was very generous.
So then the whole family gathered around later
that year. So this is how I love how like you sow in generosity and it just keeps spreading. So later that year, most of you, if you've listened, you've heard Pizzi share her story of her daughter who has autism, and she found a new doctor that she was really excited to take Yana to, and they'd saved up so much money. They'd saved for a long time to go to Disneyland. It's like the one thing that their kids pray for every night. Like,
that's all they want. I want to go to Disneyland.
It's like the one thing they love. And because their daughter doesn't connect to everything, they really like being able to give her a gift that she loves. Well, when they found this doctor, they had to use all of that money in order to be able to go see the doctor. And so her family behind her back, so like this is then they decide, oh, what we're going to do is we're all going to pitch in. And so they call everybody and get people to pitch in, and they save enough, and then they give that to them at a holiday or a birthday, I don't remember, where they're like, hey, you're still going to get to go to Disneyland and go to the doctor. Yeah. And I mean, everybody lost it. Everybody's weeping. Everybody's crying. My best friend's like, I don't even know how to process this. This is overwhelming. But this is the beauty of, you'd be amazed what would happen when a lot of people gather together. Yeah.
It's really beautiful. And did you want me to talk about some of the different forms of generosity on that note? Yeah. And again, going back to, it's really cool because I know that family at times can be really generous at taking care of the kids with their times. Yeah. With their time. And time is a big one. Yes. Like, time is something that we can't get back. I think I believe time is a more generous thing to give away than money. And it's because I can't get more time. Right. I have only a limited time on this earth. Once it's gone, it's gone. I can always make more money. I can't make more time. Yeah. And so I think that's something that's radical, and that's radically powerful. I know that even in my own world, time has been so powerful. In my childhood, something that we discussed in the Father series that we put out with my relationship with my dad is how there was a pain around the idea of time. Mm-hmm. He didn't have a lot of time to give. And so I felt like I was an enormous burden. And even recently, my good friend Paul, who is someone that I love and adore and I look up to, has been over the last decade, has been someone who has been available at any moment with regards to his time. If I'm in pain or I'm trying to get through a problem a hurdle, if I text him or say, hey, can we have a call? He's an incredibly busy man. Yeah. Like, pulled on from a million different angles, but he's willing to enter into that moment and go, all right, I can totally give you my time. And that has been incredibly uncomfortable for me to receive the generosity of his time.
It has pushed your worth button so much.
I mean, there were points in my past where giving me money made me have a meltdown. Oh yeah. Now, if you hand me like a giant check, I'm like incredibly grateful, but I don't feel awkward in my own heart. Right. I'm totally chilled about it. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Thank you so much. But specifically, even recently, I got on the phone with Paul and I was like, I just have so much pain in this area, and I'm tired of having pain in this area of feeling like I'm a burden with time. And
specifically with men in authority.
Totally.
Like, you don't feel that way with everybody.
No. Yeah. Not with friends and peers and stuff like that. It's a very specific type of person. Right. But inside of it, I'm being very vulnerable and I'm allowing myself to cry. And he said, Justin, if you need to talk to me every day for the next 3 years. And before he got to the end of that, I'm weeping. He just waits and he waits until I can breathe and the snot's cleared out of my face. And he goes, I would be ecstatic. And if I have to tell you that every day for the next 3 years, I'd also be ecstatic about that.
Yeah. And he means it.
Oh, 100%. And so time is radically powerful. It heals and changes something inside of us when we choose to be generous with it. Because somewhere at the deepest parts of the majority, I would say, of all human beings is we understand the value of time. Yeah. Logically, we might not. But at a soul level, especially as you begin to get older, you go, oh no, this is very special. And something inside of the human heart that already feels abandoned when someone gives us their time, it's like, oh my gosh. Yeah. That's a big deal.
Absolutely.
So
I love that. One. I would say another way people can be generous is through thoughtfulness or intentionality. Oh yeah. So like, we have a friend who's so good at just calling consistently. Yeah. He just calls consistently to check in and see how we're doing and tell us that he loves us. And I always feel like he's really generous. Or like, thoughtfulness could be, last week you got me a Topo Chico, which this is like so funny, but you're like, I want Abby to have a treat and I can't eat any treats right now on the special diet that I'm on. And, but it's like my favorite kind of sparkling water. It's like a funny thing. And so you got me a Topo Chico, but thoughtfulness is, it's not that I got you some extravagant gift. It's that I noticed something about who you are and thought about that.
There is someone, our friend Kaylin in our lives, that's one of the most radical gifts in her life is her generosity expressed through thoughtfulness. Because she'll take note of a bunch of things. Like I walked into my garage one day and the light had been out in there and I've been so busy doing stuff and the light's on. And I'm like, that's so weird. The light's just working. And she was like, oh, when I was over the other day, I saw the light was out. So I fixed it for you. And I was like, you were thinking of that? Like, I just want to make your life better. And it's so amazing.
Oh yeah. And thoughtfulness can be, I'm calling you to tell you something that I thought about you. Like, hey, I was driving today and I saw this thing and it reminded me of how much I enjoy you, or like thoughtful. There's so many ways to express thoughtfulness. Yeah. But basically it's just that like on my free time, I'm thinking about you and loving you.
Something that's a really powerful way to express generosity is the generosity of patience.
Yes.
That comes to my mind because very few people actually experience patience. But when you're continually being patient in someone's messy process, learning process, growing process, there's something about that makes someone feel chosen and loved and safe. And it actually tells them like people matter.
Yeah.
Like that. Patience, the generosity of patience.
Patience when somebody makes a mess at your house or when somebody makes a mistake or whatever the patience is, it's so beautiful just in listening
I
to
generously
somebody.
Handed out patience left and right to Marcus one day when I went and smacked a glass of wine on my brand new carpet that I just got. And he's like, oh my God, what is he going to do? And I was like, we just need to get cleaned up, bud.
Totally. Yes, patience is a beautiful gift to give people.
That's real. Knowledge. I think that generosity through knowledge.
Like, here, let me help you with your taxes. Here, let me help you figure out how to save money on insurance. Here, let me help you change out your sink. Here, let me teach you how to do makeup. Like, it's like I am giving you something that I spent years crafting.
Cultivating and crafting. And
let me teach you how to cook great brownies.
Yeah.
Did you have, I didn't mean to cut you off. I just thought about brownies.
I think that for me, the gift of knowledge is something like the generosity in that area is something that I've been personally proactive. Like I want to generously give away the knowledge that I have, which is why like I've done, I mean, honestly, and again, it's not about tooting my own horn, but I see the value of knowledge. And so I've given away uncountable numbers of free sessions in my office to people where I'm like, no, but I know if I'm generous with this, it could change the entirety of your life.
Yes.
And I want to do that. And I love doing that. And I love loving someone that way.
Yeah. So our friend the other day got in a car wreck, and so she invited one of her friends to come over, and her friend knew everything about who to call for insurance, what needs to happen, how that works. The generosity of her knowledge actually brought so much safety and peace, but also so the generosity of her time and the generosity of her knowledge.
One of the things that I found is I have had beautiful opportunities because of friends using their influence. For instance, I got one buddy named Joey who's taken his opportunities in his life to open up doors for me to participate in going to football games with him, NFL football games and things like that. Yeah.
We had him on the podcast. You don't have to say my friend. They know who he is if they've listened.
Some people might not have listened to that one.
Well, you should. If you haven't, it's good.
Great guy.
Great guy. But yeah, like I think there's been lots of times where I've tried to create jobs for my friends, or when I hear of somebody who's like, maybe somebody's looking for a nanny and I have a friend who's really good with kids. Like generosity is connecting opportunities
using
with
the influence that I have to create those opportunities for special moments. Yeah.
And that's honestly the reason, that should be one of the driving factors for why we gain favor and influence, is to be able to give it away.
Yeah.
To be able to empower other people.
When I think of the idea of a generosity being expressed through resources, so we have a friend who came in and helped us with our health for quite a while. And she had the resource of a health clinic. And she was like, I am going to use this resource And it cost her money on the back end of it, but it was actually the resource of the knowledge that was there, and the resource to the people she had accesses to, all of the resources.
The favor. She's like, I have access to this person who's really sought after, and I'm going to give you access to them.
Mm-hmm. And kicked down that door, and that saved my life.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I feel a little mushy about that. I'm so glad you're alive. I'm also so glad she did that.
Yes, that was very kind of her.
Okay, one of them that I want to talk about is hospitality.
Oh, that's a real good one.
It's a great way to be generous. So one of my friends is so good at this. Like, I would say one of the ways she loves people is through her house. Like, she's, come on over. I'm cooking food. If you want to eat, you can eat with us. I'm like, oh my gosh, that's like the most generous thing. Like, homemade meals. Yes. Yum. Or like, if somebody's going through a hard time, come stay with us for a week. Come stay with us for a month. Like, relax, find yourself. Like, you can, and they're not
hospitality.
Are you feeling moved by that over there?
Yeah, I just friggin' love hospitality. We've had such gifts of hospitality given to us.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Do you want to say any of them that were given to us?
I mean, they're immeasurable. I mean, I've had so many times where people are like, come to our house, come relax, and then let's create. Our friends Dave and Dawn are a prime example. Like, every once in a while, every so many summers, they're like, come out after the 4th of July.
Yeah.
You can ride around in the boat, and we'll like make sure there's food for you, and you guys can just get restoration in your heads and get ready for the next year. Yeah. And I'm just them allowing us through their hospitality, especially Dawn, she's so hospitable, has made a forever impact on my heart. And so I know the weight of hospitality, especially when someone knows how to do it well. Yeah.
So generosity is this thing. And the reason we're talking about it is because this is the season to be generous and to think. And it really is like that. We said last Christmas was our favorite Christmas because giving is more fulfilling than receiving.
Totally.
I actually think it's also easier. I've had to work on receiving because it feels you're more vulnerable receiving. And I think we should be good at both. Yeah. But we have control over giving. Yeah. We can't force people to give to us.
Yeah, we can. Give me all your money.
Give me all your money. Hands up. And so we want to talk about creating a culture of generosity in your friends' lives and in your life, because you can create this as a culture in your friend group. Like in the people that you live around, you can find little ways to actually curate this and do this. And so I wanted to tell another story just to give people ideas.
Yeah, do it.
We had some friends of ours years ago who ended up taking a job where they were going to make less money, but it was so that they could help a lot of people. Yeah. And so all of the friends around them, we had a big group of friends. We all decided that we'd put away a little bit every month for them. And so for 3 months we did that. We all put away. And here's the beautiful thing. When you none of us were rich.
No.
None of us had careers.
No, we did not have money. It wasn't like, oh, look at us. It's just overflowing gold everywhere. Doubloons. I got to the end of the rainbow.
No, nobody even had a career back then. Like we were in our early 20s. So, but here's what we did. We all put aside money, and then we got together and we created, and this is one of the funnest things, is finding creative ways to give to people.
Right.
So we decided,
Another one of your treasure hunts.
Let's do a scavenger hunt. Let's do a hunt around the house. And so what we did is we had invited them to a party that was like, oh, we're having like a dessert party. Come over to our house at 7. Well, everybody else had been there, and we all had clues that we had done around the house, and they were like cute and funny. And so everybody had to engage. What are we doing? The thoughtfulness, generosity, the love, generosity. We didn't want it to just be one way of loving someone. Yeah. So then we took money and actually hid them in different spots. So I remember one spot, like money was in a plastic bag in the toilet tank. Do you remember that?
The upper tank. Yeah.
The upper tank. Thank God nobody does upper deckers in our toilet because that would have been rough. And so it was, one of them was in a dirty diaper, but it wasn't actually dirty diaper. It was like candy melted in a diaper. But so they came and we're like, oh, hey, actually, instead of like this just being a random party, we have a game that we want to play with you guys. It's going to be like a timed game. And so we said, we're just going to like, we just want to do something fun. And so we just started, we gave them the first clue and said it was time that they had to go. And they're both real competitive. So they were like, okay, we're doing this. And so they start reading the clues. So they go to the places and then they find a wad of cash. And then there's like another clue. And then they have no idea what is happening the whole time. And this is what we're talking about. Creating a culture where we're noticing each other. We're noticing needs. We're finding ways to pitch in and take care of one another.
Well, I want to expand on that too. Part of that was generosity was expressed through fun, even in that. And there was an invitation, and I don't know who originally created the invitation for us to do that or initiated the idea, but there's something like you literally right now can go out and go, I'm going to initiate generosity in my friend group and come up with an idea of someone, some family, some purpose that would be fun to give to them, and figure out not only how to give to them, but like a fun way of doing it. And so there was a bonding that happened through the generosity, not only watching someone get their needs met and be impacted by it, but it was the creation of it. How are we going to deliver this to them? What should we do with it? Yeah. And so it became a life event that everyone gets to reflect on and go, that was amazing. Yes. So generosity gave us a life event.
Yeah. If you're looking for how to experience life, like it's not just going on an epic trip. Yeah. I would say that those moments feel more meaningful to me than like traveling overseas.
And I've had some beautiful trips that I've been on, and they pale in comparison to our moments of generosity, especially in relationship with others.
Yes. Yep. We have a friend of ours who actually, for his birthday this year, he gave presents to everyone.
Oh, I love that. Yeah,
it was
so awesome.
For his birthday, he invited us, and he gave each of us a present based on what he knows about us and a card written about why he did it and what he thought about us. And I think generosity of words is also a way that you can be generous, loving people with your affection and telling them what they mean to you. So I think that our whole point in this episode
is that words are pointless and actions are what really matter. I kid.
No, our whole point in this is to spark your hearts to remember the joy of giving. I mean, for me, even when I had no money, I would make like Valentine's Day cards. Like I was crafty. And so I would spend hours creating something that was pretty.
I love craftiness, unless you're my grandma who like knits me a doll when I was like 10 years old and was like, hey, I made this for you for Christmas. I was like, that's horrible, Grandma.
Thanks
for nothing.
Thanks, Grandma.
I don't need your generosity.
Just.
It was hard for a 10-year-old to choke that thing down.
Thanks, Grandma. I always wanted a doll. Yeah. And we want to spark you to start dreaming, because I will say there's not one time that I haven't either received something back later.
Yeah.
Or been like I give away my time, someone gives away their time to me. Yeah. Like you reap and you sow, and there's this beautiful, we think of abundance like I want to stay open, so I receive and I give. I receive and I give.
Yep.
You looked like you wanted to say something.
Well, I was thinking about, okay, this is what I was trying to figure out if I was going to share this or not. But literally our friend gave away a large chunk of change just the other day. Then they got in their car wreck, which Abby was kind of referring to. And you didn't hear, but it was totaled out for more than she paid for it.
Yes.
And
so she got back more. She gave away the biggest amount she'd ever given away. And then within the next 2 days or 3 days, or 5 days, I don't know, the next week, she was given back through this payout more than she had given away.
Which is a crazy way for it to happen. Like she could have spun out after the car wreck and been like, oh my gosh, I give and then terrible things get taken away, or good things get taken away from me and terrible things happen. She was like, I don't know, this is interesting. I wonder what's going to happen from this. And literally through the payout, not only she got more money back than she paid for it, which means she spent the last 3 years driving around for free.
Yeah. Totally.
And she's just like, this is so crazy.
Yeah.
Weirdest of ways. And she's physically fine. So
yes. So this is I have seen this time and time again where you give and it like opens up,
generating all kinds of abundance.
Yeah. Because again, generosity is contagious, and it's kind of like, I love getting to leave a mark of love on the planet.
Yeah.
It feels like there's so many bad things in the world. When you're generosity, you're like putting money in the bank account of good things on the planet. Mm-hmm. And so that feels really fun and engaging to me.
So moving forward, going into this season, begin to ask yourself as Christmas approaches, what are ways that not only I can be generous, but I can stir generosity, that I can create culture and invitation in friendships and all kinds of other ways to actually deliberately have encounters and experiences all rooted in generosity.
Yeah. I have one last story to share. Last year when we did our Living Fully Alive course. So what we did is we had the course, and then when we got done, people loved the course so much they asked if we would extend it. We had so many people ask that we would extend it that we decided to do an extra 4-week extension. And so when we did that, there was somebody who was like, I actually don't have the time right now to do this, but I believe in this so much. I want to pay for other people to be able to do this extension.
So when other people in the group heard about it,
then they agreed. They were like, I want to do that too. I want to give for other people.
So we had a bunch of giving start happening, and people got to participate in the class.
Yeah. And it was amazing. It was just fun to watch how, like, you don't know what you will do, how that will spark the world around you. Yep. And because this is the season of that, we are getting ready to do our Living Fully Alive course. And we are telling people, if you want to give the gift of health to somebody that you love, like, it changed our family. Justin, me and his parents have been on a redemption restoration journey for years. And it's been so good. I thought it was so good last year. Yeah. But then they did this course, and the whole family changed again. Yeah.
I had a radical healing encounter with my dad because he had watched the course, and he actually had language for the first time in how to validate me. And he got to be what he always wanted to be to me, but didn't have the tools to do.
Yeah. And your mom has been able to love me and connect to me more than she ever has before. And so if it's something that you want to do, invite your family into it. Yeah. We so want whole units of people to get free friend groups to actually be able to process life and go on the journey. So we'd love to have you join us for that. It's January through April. It is every week there's stuff. We made it so that you could, less than the price of meeting with us once a month, you could see us like 5 times a month.
Yeah. So you can go to stoneballconsulting.com and sign up for that, or sign others up for it, and give the gift of health and transformation.
But also, if you don't do that, just remember to be generous this season.
Because
thankful and generous.
'Tis the season. 'Tis the season for generosity.
I thought you were going to say something funny, but then that was a very stoic statement.
I was like, is it funnier if I just get stoic? And I was like, this feels funnier to me. So thanks for joining us. Remember to rate, review, subscribe, and share. We love all you. Happy holidays. And tune in next week for more Connected Life.
Connected Life.
Woo-hoo.
Woo-woo.